Welcome back to Digging Detroit. I'm Pete Kalinsky, and I'm here with a very special guest, Gatini Tinsley, newspaper reporter for the Oakland Press and a television producer. Gatini is our first guest host. Gatini, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I started out my career at Local 4 News in Detroit, and currently I'm published in the Oakland Press as well as the Michigan Chronicle.
Tell us a little bit about the episode that we're going to see.
We're standing at the Dequindre Cut, and we had the opportunity to talk with Todd Scott from Detroit's Greenway Coalition. I'm Gatini Tinsley, and I'm standing here with Todd from Detroit Greenway Coalition. And Todd, you're going to take us on a tour throughout the city and let us know where these trails are going to be placed at.
Yeah, so we're building trails throughout the city of Detroit for biking and walking. And the big one that we're working on is the Inner Circle Greenway, which is 26 miles around the city. And I'm looking forward to showing you what that trail is going to look like.
Sounds great. Let's go. Can you tell me a little bit about where we are?
Sure, we're on the former Conrail rail corridor that used to serve the Model T plant that is just behind us. Used to bring in a lot of resources for Model Ts, and then every day 177 rail cars were shipped out with fully built Model Ts to be distributed throughout the world. Well, we're hoping to acquire this property and turn it into a trail. So there'll be a rail to trail conversion, which has happened all across Michigan, all across the United States, and we've even done some in Detroit, but we want to do one more. With the deindustrialization of the city of Detroit, there's been less need for railroads. As they abandon them, cities have purchased them to convert them into trails, because they're usually long, linear parcels of property that connect up many important things, include great bridges over roads and expressways or rivers, just like this one does here, right over Woodward.
I see we've got the HP just behind us, standing
Right.
for Highland Park.
Correct.
And tell us a little bit about why this railroad area was built.
It was built because there was a need for more industrial space along railroads, and this was country at that time. As a result of this going in, Henry Ford bought this parcel of land over here and built the Model T plant, where he really expanded upon the assembly line concept. He really created the middle class, and it spurred the migration from the South, the Great Migration, and brought more immigrants to Detroit from around the world to work at Mr. Ford's plant and make a decent living.
And now we're so far from that. Like you said earlier, the deindustrialization. So now we're moving towards a bike trail.
It's interesting because Henry Ford started with bikes. He was an active cyclist, and his first vehicle, the quadricycle, was based upon bike parts.
Wow.
Bike chain, bike wheels, and so yeah, we're kind of like looping back to how we were before.
What is going to go into building a bike trail through here? It was hard enough just getting up here.
Yeah, so
with all the rocks,
certainly.
pebbles,
So we
weeds.
have an excellent group of people who are doing some design work now to design this out, and basically, you're not going to disturb this too much because we don't know what's in the soil necessarily. So it's better just to cap it over with asphalt. So this will be a 14-foot wide asphalt pathway that has area for walking, biking, and we'll extend it all the way down, make it into a big 26-mile loop. We'll add lighting, security along the way. It's easy to find money to build trails. It's harder to find money to maintain them. So it's really important that you build trails right the first time to last a long time. So that's what we'll be doing here, building a good base and then putting asphalt on top and covering it over. One thing that's unique about the Inner Circle Greenway is it goes through 4 communities. It's Detroit, Highland Park, Hamtramck, and a little bit of Dearborn. But if you travel just a little further down here towards Focus Hope, we'll be back into Detroit.
All right, so let's check out Focus Hope. We're on Focus Hope grounds, a little bit across the street from us.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about this location.
Sure, so this part of the railroad actually goes right behind Focus Hope, and they have an extensive campus with many buildings, and so we've been working very closely with them to see how we can tie this railroad into their vision for this whole area, which they want to redevelop this whole area as part of their Hope Village initiative. And so this railroad is an important part of it. If we can convert it into a trail, It would really connect them up to many opportunities. It connects a lot of people up to Focus Hope, which has a lot of workforce development. And so that's very important to help people get connected to job training and get people employed and working.
Right, because in their campus they have a lot of job training, machinist training
Absolutely.
programs, different programs. So you've got a lot of students coming in and out
Right.
who could start taking their bikes.
Part of our vision too, we are trying to improve that trail to transit connection. So we're going to be improving some of the bus stops that are along the trail that have a high use. One other thing too is that DDOT has added bike racks to the front of all their buses. And we don't have specific numbers for DDOT, but the numbers from Smart, who also have bike racks on the front of their buses, they're seeing tremendous amount of use. For example, on all the Woodward lines in 2014, they picked up over 18,000 bikes.
Wow.
Which is just impressive. That's just for the Woodward line alone.
The trail is going to be going up through here.
Correct.
How much does something like this cost to build a trail this large?
Well, so this specific railroad property is about 8.5 miles long. It's varying in width, and we had it appraised, and it was $4.5 million. So we were fortunate to get grant funding from the state of Michigan through the Michigan Natural Resources Trust Fund. And then we also got some matching dollars from MDOT.
Was that a long process to get the funding?
Yeah, it was kind of complicated. The applications were very in-depth.
Now, why do you feel it's needed? Why are you so passionate about it?
More and more people in the city of Detroit are biking and walking, and it's great for many reasons, for transportation reasons, for health reasons, for social reasons, and environmental reasons. So we want to build trails like this because we know that when you build it, they will come, and more people use it. Like the River Walk and the Dequindre Cut have been so successful that we want to bring that success out into the neighborhoods.
The River Walk has been really successful. There's a lot of people biking on the walk,
Yes.
or jogging on the walk, bringing their
Doing
dogs.
yoga, running clubs, walking clubs.
So are you hoping for an outcome like that once everything is laid?
Sure, but it'll probably be different because it won't be along the river, and it'll be more close to the neighborhood, so more people will be able to walk or ride their bikes. It's going to go right through downtown Hamtramck and right through portions of the Verner Business District in southwest Detroit. So we're going to have some great food options along the trail.
So that's nice.
That is
The
nice.
fact that you can stop and have food and enjoy yourself and just
Absolutely.
kind of lock your bike up and get off the trail and then enjoy yourself and come back to the trail. That's going
right.
to be nice going through some downtowns of
Absolutely. Yeah, you can break up the ride, so it's not one big long ride. You
Yeah.
have some nice destinations along the way.
the city. In terms of this project, what is the due date? When are we going to actually be able to see and ride these trails? How long does something like this take?
About half of the trail is completed on the ground today.
Okay.
So this portion, it really depends upon the railroad selling the property to us, the timeliness of that. The city of Detroit applied for a $10 million grant to build a large portion of the trail, so it depends on if that money comes in or not.
Okay.
It really depends on a number of issues, but primarily based around funding.
I see that there's like a slight curve on the asphalt going
Yeah.
up. Can you tell me where that derives from?
Sure, well that's because the railroad crossed right here, and it's likely that the rails themselves are still there and they just paved over them. So that's why they had to go up and over the railroad.
I see. So underneath it, if we were to dig this up, you would actually see the railroad tracks.
Yeah, very likely. Because of the success of the Model T plant, Penn Central wanted to get in on some of that action too. So they built a railroad directly north of this, so that both Penn Central and Detroit Terminal Rail Line went side by side here through this parcel, all the way down to the Model T plant.
So were they in competition a little bit?
Oh, they were very much in competition. In fact, Penn Central needed to cross, their railroad needed to cross the Detroit Terminal Rail Line, and the Detroit Terminal Rail Line said they didn't want that, and they fought for years, and finally Penn Central won.
We're at the Dequindre Cut. Tell us a little bit about this location. This is one of the areas that is going to run into the trail that is being built.
That's correct. So this will be part of the Inner Circle Greenway. This is one of the sections that's already just about completed.
Now, what in particular made the Dequindre Cut for people who don't know?
So Dequindre Street used to be right here, and it used to be the same level as those bridges. The railroad got so busy that every time the trains were going by here, it stopped all the traffic. And so the city of Detroit told the railroad, you need to put this railroad below grade or cut it into the ground. Railroad wanted to build it above all the roads, and the city said, no, let's build it below ground, it'll look nicer.
How much has the Dequindre Cut changed and become more popular over time?
So in the beginning, it was an abandoned rail corridor, and there was a small little goat path along the side of it, and graffiti artists used it. And when we proposed putting a trail in, a lot of people in the community said they weren't going to go down in the ditch and use it, and it was going to be safe. So there were a lot of skeptics. But once it got built, the community saw what it was and saw that it was a valuable amenity, and people have been using it more and more every year. We've
got the Adventure Center just behind us. Tell us a little bit about the Adventure Center.
Sure. Well, that building is very historical because it used to have manufacturing for marine engines. And the one thing that's really cool is that Henry Ford did some apprentice work at this site, and it was his first experience working with steam engines.
Now, I noticed just to the right of the Adventure Center, we've got like a pile of rubble here.
So this is the Orleans Landing. So they're going to be building houses, and then there's going to be an area with shops and that along the way.
I really like how the trails have little stops along the way, points and places where you can stop and have adventure, you can stop and rest or work out. So it's going to be more than just a bike trail, it's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun, absolutely. And you know, this trail also connects up a lot of historical auto heritage sites. So the Model T plant, and it goes by the GM Volt plant, which was the Dodge Main plant was there. It's going to go near the Paquette plant. It's going to go by the Ford Rouge plant. It's not just a ride through the woods. It's going to be connecting up with the automotive heritage, our immigrant heritage, and you know, some of the great cultural spots along the way.
Tell us a little bit about the funding and some of the people you work with.
So in terms of the funding, we've been very fortunate to get some grants from the Michigan Natural Resources Trust Fund with MDOT. We also have gotten funding from Kresge Foundation and the Community Foundation for Southeast Michigan. And we're looking for additional funding to help get this built.
Have you found that the bulk of people have been supportive about the initiative?
When they did the Detroit Future City study, some folks had concerns about greenways. Are they being built for the current residents? Or are they being built to attract new residents to their community? And so once we explained the value to the existing community, that we're building it for the existing community, some of those fears dissipated. So. But it's very important for us to make sure that we constantly think about the current residents and building it for them and for their use, and to improve their property values, their access to recreation, access to schools and jobs.
And in addition, something I wanted to tap on was the obesity rate in Michigan and how things like this, having trails built, can really get you out there.
Absolutely.
And get fit.
There's a strong correlation between the built environment that you live in and your health outcomes. And Detroit, has a very high obesity rates, bad cardiovascular and diabetes issues, and so providing more recreational opportunities that are fun to do,
exactly,
that draw you in, are invaluable and can produce some very good positive health outcomes for Detroiters, and it saves a lot of money.
Tell us about how we can support you, or any viewers can support the initiative for the bike trails.
Sure. Well, as a start, you could go onto Facebook and like our page. But also we're looking for members too.
Okay.
If you're willing to become a member, that is really what's going to help us sustain our organization and keep it moving forward. And then we're also looking for folks who want to donate it beyond that for the Inner Circle Greenway to help make it a reality. And we've already had some folks step forward, and it's going to take a few more to get it all done, but we're on the right track, and we're looking forward to make this happen.
I absolutely love how many stops and Detroit memorabilia and history of Detroit that the trail is going to bring.
I think it's going to be a trail that you don't just ride once and get it all at once. Every time you ride it, you're going to see something new. You stop for food in Hamtramck or Southwest Detroit. There's just so many different varieties of things to do along the trail that it's always going to be exciting.
Well, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Jatine, that was a really cool episode. Thanks for hosting it, and I'm looking forward to seeing what else we can do with you here on Digging Detroit.
Thanks so much, Pete. I'm excited to be here working on Digging Detroit, and I really look forward to coming back and spending some more time with you all.
Thanks for watching.
Have a great day.